The Zero FXE is the biggest update to happen to the FX line of lightweight electric motorcycles in, well, just about ever. Hey everyone, Micah here with Electrek. That's me. Zero invited me out to California recently to join a group ride testing out the new Zero FXE electric motorcycle, where they took us to an undisclosed location that turned out to be the side of the road somewhere in the hills over Santa Cruz. I got the chance to spend a few hours on the bike, and here's what I've got to share with you about the new ride. First things first, let's talk power. Under the panels, we've got largely the same foundation that we've seen on the last several model years of the FX and FXS bikes. That 34 kilowatt peak rated motor puts out 46 horsepower at full tilt, though it's the 106 newton meters of torque that really gets me excited. The bike is rather small, and so that modest power is plenty to rocket you up to the bike's top speed of 85 miles an hour, though it cruises better for longer rides at about 70 to 75 miles an hour. It's an air-cooled motor, and so you can overdo it by pushing it too hard for too long. While the bike can do highway speeds just fine, redlining it continuously is not advisable, and it's the acceleration and torque that are really the main joys here anyways. At 298 pounds, there's just not that much bike to accelerate or to lug around, making it feel light and nimble beneath you. I've spent time riding both the SRF and the SRS, which are Zero's larger flagship bikes, and while they certainly feel more powerful, they're also bigger and heavier machines. The FXE is still a rocket, but it feels more like a light dirt bike under you than a heavy street bike, which gives it this odd combination of fun free riding and actual commuter use. Remember, this is still a street-optimized bike. The new design is also really eye-catching, and it turns the bike from something that looked like a dirt bike dropped in the city into a modern or even futuristic-looking street bike. While major parts like the saddle are still the same, the reworked body panels give the FXE a refreshing new look that I think will be more popular to new riders. Not that this is a beginner bike per se, but I do think it's a great bike for new riders to start on because it just isn't too heavy or too overpowered. Fortunately, it's still got more than enough power to really have some fun. What it doesn't have too much of is battery. The 7.2 kilowatt hour battery is really more like 6.3 kilowatt hours of usable capacity. That was enough for a whole afternoon of riding for me, but there was a lot of stopping and starting there too. The official numbers Zero gives are 100 miles of range in the city, which is actually probably fine for most city riders. The issue is when you start speeding up. At 55 miles an hour, they rate the range at 60 miles, which is like, well, not a ton. Then at 75 miles an hour, the range drops down to just 40 miles. So, like I said, this is a highway-capable bike in that it can go fast enough to safely ride on the highway, but unless you're only doing a dozen or so miles on the highway as part of your commute, or unless you have a place to charge at work, this isn't really a long time on the highway type of bike. But in my opinion, it still makes a wonderful commuter bike because of the doors it opens to high and low speed capable riding. And at its current price of $11,795, it's actually on the lower end of electric motorcycle prices, believe it or not. That's still a substantial chunk of change, and of course Zero can't yet match the price of gas bikes, but there are enough people that simply aren't in the market for a gas bike that I don't think that comparison is as warranted. Compare it to all the $20,000 flagship electric motorcycles, and suddenly the price looks a lot better. Plus there are enough federal and state incentives out there to get the price closer to under $10,000, making it an even better deal. Whether or not this is an affordable bike is subjective, but objectively speaking, the specs and capabilities of the FXE position it as a great commuter e-moto, and I'd say it's definitely worth a second look. Thanks for watching everyone. I hope you enjoyed coming along on that first ride on the Zero FXE. If you did, why don't you give this video a thumbs up? And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of our future electric vehicle videos. We'll see you here next time.